Now, welcome to part 2 of your analysis. So, in part 2 of your pre-scene, we start from where we left off naturally, but we will be making it more, let's say, we will be making it more and more relevant, more and more related to your E2, P2, F2 syllabus as we move deeper through our discussions. So in the first part, we dealt with first we did the industry analysis. After that, we did the introduction to the company and a little bit background about this market, this double glazing market, what the double glazing market is like. All of that we covered in part 1, and then in part 1 we have a very small paragraph on Shinyglas that we have discussed. So we started to discuss about Shinyglas in part 1 itself. Now in part 2 we will go through the details of Shinyglas in much more detail, part by part, understanding the company's manufacturing processes, the company's internal processes. And then in part 3, we will deal with the financial analysis as well. So everything coming to you part by part by part, one by one, making sure that you are with me and learning with me and understanding with me all the parts of this company, Shinyglas. So let's continue. Templand's economy was growing rapidly. I'll start from where I ended. Okay. Before I begin, I hope all of you have a piece of paper and you all are writing down all the important E, P, and F pillar topics which I am speaking about. I hope you are doing that because this will be a very important document and a very important piece of information with you which you can use, which you can take benefit of. So please make sure that you are going through the same. So please make sure that topic list you are very carefully curating. So Templand's economy was growing rapidly at that time and wages were increasing in real terms. The real rate of interest, the real rate of inflation in your P2 syllabus comes into the picture here. Many householders invested in home improvements, including double glazing. Most homes at that time had poor insulation. So you can discuss how the company would need to manage our operational costs over here, and naturally we have done that. That is why we have survived. So for maintaining our profitability, we will have good systems in place. That is why we have survived these 62 years and this time of growth, this time of inflation. Now, because we are speaking about inflation, Shinyglas may have entered into long-term contracts with suppliers or customers. In periods of inflation, the real value of agreed prices can decrease. Today, $1 is worth this much. Tomorrow, $1 is not worth that much because of the inflation. So it will be very important to consider the effect of inflation in this market, because this market is directly related to the proportion of money that people will have with them and they can spend on their livelihood. This is part of your P2 syllabus. Moving on, Shinyglas grew steadily. By 1990, the company had established itself as Templand's largest window and door fabricator. So we grew to the largest door fabricator. We started in 1962. In 1990, which means 28 years later, we became the largest window and door fabricator. So this shows that we have been able to control our costs. Naturally, you grew to the largest, people were buying from you, you were able to supply because you were able to control your costs. A strong costing system to understand the different costs is an ever-changing business is very important. Your manufacturing business related costing systems become important over here. Target costing, activity based costing, different costing systems in your P2 syllabus. A very important discussion, a very important consideration over here. You must be clear with these P2 concepts. Double glazing proved to be a popular home improvement in Templand. So there was support in the market as well. Double glazing proved to be a popular home improvement in Templand, and the country has a mature economy and average wages are relatively high. Large numbers of people own their own homes. So this is a country with a mature economy. Temperatures vary significantly between seasons with warm summers and cold winters. So from this we understand that Templand is a developed economy, mature economy, developed economy, they are synonyms. So people will have the interest and money to spend on such home improvements which I am offering. That is why it proved to be popular, right? The market was supportive. And I was further able to understand this because the business would have done some external market analysis, some segmentation. That is why it decided to enter this market, right? So one thing we need to remember is that Shinyglas is located in a developed economy. So it opens up advantages such as better infrastructure, highly skilled workforce, but also regulation costs, high factors of production. And it's very similar and it's very simple to know a mature economy means people have the income, people have the interest, people have the money, people have the power, people have technological innovation seek. All of this proves that Templand is a good market for double glazing. Next, temperatures vary significantly between seasons with warm summers and cold winters. So the topics of sensitivity analysis comes into the picture over here. So what is happening to your profit, to your margin if the season changes? In summer, what is your sale? In winter, what is your sale? Secondly, if I am not able to supply in winter, for example, how does my sale get affected? So what is the sensitivity of different variables to my profit, to my margins? This is where your sensitivity analysis, your payoff tables, your risk related decision making comes into the picture. Again, P2 syllabus area. The company focused heavily on product quality and customer service. Its products were frequently ranked best in comparisons of value for money conducted by independent consumer organizations, despite the fact that those products were generally more expensive than those offered by competitors. So we focused on product quality, customer service. Remember what is part of your culture. Your culture is quality, your culture is service. You are a little bit more expensive, but people still chose your products because of quality, because of service. So you cannot compromise on the same. Quality is part of our culture and you have to stay true to the same. You are using the premium pricing strategy, you're more expensive. So Porter's generic strategies, E2, P2 syllabus coming into the picture over here. Shinyglas also made use of advertising. The company invested heavily in advertising on television and in newspapers. Now throughout the pre-scene, as we go on, we want to find how our marketing has evolved to modern formats. Keep this in mind because nowadays everybody is using digital marketing. Is my business using it? Because that enables us to use sophisticated big data management softwares to target customers. So E2 syllabus, that opportunity is existing, right? Next, through a heavy financial investment, Shinyglas succeeded in creating strong brand awareness at a time when the internet and social media was not available. So as you can see, we have already created a brand because you're the market leader. Brand management and using the same to derive comparative advantage will be key. Your IAS on intangible assets is becoming important over here because you will have goodwill, you have a brand value, and you might also buy a business that has brand value, that has intangible assets. So your IAS on intangible assets from the F2 syllabus Very, very important. The company also led in product development. So we are learning a lot about the company. We are good at customer service, good at quality, premium pricing, and we also are innovative. In the mid 1980s, Shinyglas became the first company to offer UPVC frames in template. So we were the game changer. We were the innovator in this market. Shinyglas continues to develop new features for its doors and windows. So innovation is in our culture. I have to keep this in mind. Now, with innovation comes the need for capital requirement. Without money, you can't innovate, right? So capital management, cost of raising new capital, the different sources of debt, equity need to be kept in mind. F2 syllabus. If you take on more debt, more equity, what happens to your weighted average cost of capital? F2 syllabus. Impact on WACC, F2 syllabus. And one other way you can raise finance is by rights issues, convertible bonds. This is your F2 syllabus, IAS 33. On a related matter, there can be bonus issues as well. Not capital raising, but this is, since we are talking about IAS 33, your company can announce bonus issues as well. You are listed on the stock exchange. Remember this, we learnt at the very beginning. So IAS 33 discussion becomes very important over here. By 2000, most homes and commercial premises had double glazing, and so demand for replacement was limited. Shinyglas has, however, benefited from a steady growth in the construction of new houses because builders always specify double glazed doors and windows that they want. So residential demand was met, but construction, commercial demand has now picked up. So managing the relationship with builders, managing the relationship with commercial businesses as well will be very important for my margins. And how do I manage the relationship? By negotiation skills, by influence skills, by persuasion skills. This is in your E2 syllabus, these concepts that I spoke of. Same way, if you have any relationship with any stakeholder, there will be conflicts. So conflict management from your E2 syllabus also becomes very important, and you would very easily overlook all of these topics. I have just pointed out the importance of the same for you. Several builders buy windows and exterior doors from Shinyglas. All new windows and doors must comply with rules relating to safety and heat retention imposed by the government. So the government is involved over here. If your double coated glasses are not meeting the requirement, there can be huge risks. If there is a failure in quality, there can be huge risks because health and safety is considered over here. So risk management again becomes very important. Some homeowners replace their windows and doors in order to comply with these rules, and others enhance the value of their house. Others replace older double glazed windows and doors in order to benefit from the quality of modern products which companies like Shinyglas offer. Now let's go to the manufacturing details for my company. So let's start with some manufacturing details. This is the internal manufacturing processes of our company Shinyglas, which we need to know. Now all of you, I want to clear a misconception, rather let's put it that way. We are doing this detailed pre-scene analysis for 3 reasons, everybody. Please be aware of those 3 reasons. What are the 3 reasons? The first one being to understand our company. If you don't know your company, then naturally you cannot do well in terms of answering questions. Because if you don't know your company, what will you answer? Right? Second, we are doing it so much in detail so that we can point out important E2, P2 and F2 topics which you can then study and then be ready for questions on these topics when we go to mock question writing. So all of this is being done so that important topics are highlighted, and hope you are creating that list. Third, which often goes unsaid. So much detail, so many ideas I am giving you so that when you write your answer, you have lots of information from the pre-scene which you can use in your answer to give business skill marks, and your answer feels more and more like from a finance manager working at Shinyglas. That has to be the the overlook of the answer, which will only come if you know your company. That is why I am going to go through step by step of the pre-scene, so that you understand, so that you get important ideas, so that you get important suggestions. Your job will be to support me by understanding these three ideas and then finally using this material in your mock questions. For example, if you're writing something, let's say related to quality, you can start your answer by saying, in our culture, inherently there has always been quality, there has always been premium pricing. When you include that in your answer, it tells the examiner that this person has studied the pre-scene, this person has gone through the pre-scene, and you will get marks and you will get credit for this, because it will be more business skill oriented. So these are the three reasons why pre-scene is being done in so much detail with you. So let's start. Manufacturing. Shinyglas makes its own frames at a factory in Templand. The company purchases lengths of UPVC and aluminium that have been pre-shaped to Shinyglas requirements by their manufacturers using a process called extrusion. So you will buy UPVC and aluminium which are pre-shaped to your requirement. Image is present over here. The resulting extrusions are supplied as long lengths of UPVC or aluminium. Image is there for you. Shinyglas makes frames by cutting sections of extrusion to the required lengths before joining them together with your brackets and hinges. Remember, you are creating the frame. So you get the aluminium, you cut it, you add the bracket, add the hinges, and then you will add the glass. That's your job. In simple words, the shapes of extrusions are designed to ensure that the quantity of material is minimized without compromising strength. So save on material cost, but always quality. So the design of extrusion to minimize material is a critical aspect of cost control, like I mentioned. This links to target costing and value engineering, where the company focuses on optimizing cost of production without reducing the value. You can decide all of this in terms of meeting the value, meeting the cost, and then meeting the price if you have a target costing system, or if you have a value engineering team. This is in your P2 syllabus, both of these concepts, value analysis, value engineering, linking to the Porter's value chain, is in your P2 syllabus. Shinyglas recommends UPVC for use indoors and windows for houses, and aluminium for shops, offices, and other commercial properties. Now, the differentiation between UPVC for homes and aluminium allows us to perform break-even analysis to determine how many units of each of these frames we need to sell to cover our fixed costs, cover our variable costs. Because UPVC going to your houses, aluminium going to shops, offices, and commercial properties. So you can easily calculate break even, which is more because there are separate segments, what are the fixed costs, what are the variable costs, what is the break even analysis, because segment analysis is done. This is F2 syllabus. Next, Shinyglas's factory is equipped to manufacture doors and windows to meet our precise requirement. The designs are sent to the factory with detailed measurements for each door and window frame, because if the size is not right, it won't fit in the customer's house. The factory buys sealed units, already spoken about this, of the appropriate sizes and types of glass from third-party manufacturers as required to fulfill each order. So we are buying this when we needed to require to fulfill each order. We are not buying and storing it. That's not been mentioned. It's mentioned that we buy them as required, as and when required, which means less storage, less waste, which links to world-class manufacturing concepts like total quality management, JIT, Kaizen. This is in your P2 syllabus. You're not storing inventory. You order it when it's needed. As soon as it comes in, it goes in production. Very important thing about our business. We are committed to world-class manufacturing techniques, P2 syllabus. This is my competitive advantage. The frames are then made from lengths of UPVC or aluminum extrusion that have been cut to size using computer numerical control equipment. So we use equipment which is high class, again linking to world class manufacturing, but because we have this equipment, there can be chances that this equipment breaks down. We need new equipment. For that case, a lease could be considered, right? So your IFRS 16 leases comes into the picture. Secondly, there might be one particular machine which now, let's say, because of some innovation you are not using, so you are leasing it out for somebody else to use, or a premises which you are not using, you are leasing it out to somebody else to use. So your lessee accounting comes into the picture. F2 syllabus, lessor and lessee accounting. You are expected to know both. And I just gave you a scenario of how it can come up. Shinyglas also buys fittings including brackets, hinges and locks from third-party manufacturers. So we buy the glass, we buy the brackets, we buy the hinges, we buy the locks, we buy the aluminum extrusion as well. We are only doing the aluminum frame and fixing the glass within the same. But this is also very specific. So doors and windows leave the factory pre-assembled and ready to be installed, and an entire assembly goes out. So our manufacturing process, from purchasing third-party materials to producing pre-assembled doors and windows, fits well into the porter's value chain. Take a minute. What is your inbound logistics? What is your operations? What is your outbound logistics? Just be aware of this P2 syllabus. Porter's value chain is very important. Next, and because we're speaking about value, I've already spoken about value engineering, value analysis earlier in the pre-scene. So these topics are becoming important. Now, as Shinyglas delivers customized doors and windows to customers, revenue recognition plays a key role. The company must follow IFRS 15 guidelines, ensuring that revenue is recognized when the control of goods transfers to the customers, not when it's made, not when the order is received, but when the products are delivered and pre-assembled and ready for installation, where your job is complete. That's when the revenue is recorded. This is IFRS 15 revenue recognition rules. This will come up in the exam. So we did the manufacturing part. Now to the sales. Shinyglas sells to customers across the whole of Templand, which means right now we are a local company selling to Templand only. It promotes its products through a variety of media. The company's website is kept up to date with the latest products and developments. Customers can arrange for a sales visit directly through the website. Alternatively, they can provide contact details if they wish to do so, and somebody from Shinyglas will reach them. So first thing we learn is we have a website. Remember earlier we learned majority our advertisement was in television, newspapers, magazines. Good that we have kept up to the trends in the world and we now have a website as well. So strong website management will be important, will be something that we are aware of, because this can be seen as our competitive advantage. If we have a good website, if we are storing the data on our website, if we had good app management, data management, big data management, then it will be very clear for us to be able to use this data to our benefit. This is your E2 syllabus. So I'm sure that when somebody is coming to our website and giving us the information, we are calling them. But are we doing anything else with that data to generate competitive advantage? This is your data mining topics from E2. Next, Shinyglas continues to advertise on television and in newspapers because people, read them. They have access to them. Customers are asked to recommend Shinyglas to their friends as well. And if sales leads provided by customers result in final sales, then the company grants discounts as well. So we have this sharing concept where if we are recommended to someone by someone, then we share a part of the sale that's made. A percentage is paid out, it's like a commission. But this encourages further, let's say, publicity by mouth. All of Shinyglas's salespeople are self-employed. Very, very important information coming over here. Salespeople are not part of your company. They are self-employed. They are paid on a commission basis. Self-employed means working by themselves. But for Shinyglas, they're not my employees. They are paid on a commission basis. Salespeople can earn a great deal if they work hard and succeed. The average annual commission is $55,000, which is 50% higher than the national average income in Templand, which means they are self-employed, but their salary or the money that they earn, the commission that they earn is higher than the national average income in Templand. So this is one important thing for us to be aware of. Now, salespeople can earn significantly above the national average, showing that our commission-based system is effective. This links to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Herzberg's two-factor theory, which is in your E2 syllabus, saying that if people are motivated, if there is a concept of performance-based rewards, if you give them the responsibility, they generally do well. E2 syllabus area. Next, the commission-based pay structure represents a shift from fixed to variable costs, which enhances my cost competitiveness. So your cost competitive model in your P2 syllabus, chapter number 1, becomes important over here, and you have, controlled your cost by having a variable model rather than a fixed model. If sales are good, you pay them. Sales are not good, you don't pay them, because that's the commission base that we have set. So the company has 550 employees, not a small company, we know that, but sales team is also strong, 550. Salespeople receive initial training in sales techniques and in Shinyglas products when they first join the company. They are required to attend further training twice a year. Sales courses are conducted for groups of salespeople in hotel function rooms located across Templand. So we often congregate our salespeople in one place so that we can have regular training. This is good. Shinyglas has an online diary system. Salespeople are required to indicate when they are available to make sales visits, bearing in mind that potential customers will prefer sales visits at weekends or on weekday evenings. So their working hours are not very, let's say, popular, because nobody wants to work on weekends, nobody wants to work on evenings, but that's when potential customers prefer the sales visits. These diaries are used to list available dates and times to potential customers who wish to book a sales visit online. So we have an online diary system. Customer can come and book the slots available, and then the salesperson is expected to meet that requirement. So it embraces the digital tools that my business is using. This ties into your digital operation models from your E2 syllabus, and we are supporting this digital revolution. So it's good that there is, we are moving in the right path in terms of digitization. Call center staff can also access the diary to make appointments over the phone. The diary system takes account of locations And salespeople are expected to make sales visits within an 80-kilometer distance, an 80-kilometer radius. Salespeople must provide their own cars and laptops because they are self-employed. I am not employing them, so I don't have to give them any assets. Shinyglas provides them with samples, including small window units that they can demonstrate. Salespeople start their visits by determining the potential size of the order and establishing the customer's budget. They describe Shinyglas's products and explain why those will be best for the customer. Sample, like any salesperson would. Sales are trained to maximize the value of each sale, so they will frequently attempt to encourage customers to spend more, because if they maximize sales, they get more commission. They also seek to persuade customers to commit themselves to purchasing during that visit so that they don't have to come again and again and again. Now, when completing a sales order, it will be important to consider the customer profitability analysis and lifetime customer value analysis, because I want them to buy from me again even after 10 years when they want a replacement or when they go to a new house. So profitability is important. That is why we want to make that sale in that visit. And lifetime value is also important, P2 syllabus. Now this demonstrates how we capture the value in the sales process. So because it's tailored to customer needs, which helps Shinyglas optimize revenue. So it's very important to understand over here that we are capturing value in the sales process by visiting them and selling to them and not leaving, persuading them to buy more in that visit. The negotiation process shows the importance of influence, persuasion, which I've already spoken of, negotiation in the sales strategy. E2, you will have to train your employees for the same. And for head office to train, which you are part of, you will need to have this technical knowledge, which in this case is the E2 syllabus. Next, salespeople are trained to measure the spaces that replacement doors or windows are required to fit and to design the door or window units to meet the customer's needs. So when you visit the customer's house, you have to take the measurings as a sales person. For example, a customer might wish to replace a window that is 120 centimeter by 110 centimeter. Depending on the customer's requirement is, you serve them. But the salesperson is expected to take this measurement. The simplest and cheapest option would be to supply a window consisting of an individual glazed unit. One big glazed unit, only sample is shown for you over here. That would be easiest to make. The only movable part of that would be required to be the trickle vent, which is a small gap at the top of the frame with a flap that can be opened to permit a small amount of ventilation. This is the first option that we can sell. Image you can see over here. Second, an individual glazed unit might not offer sufficient ventilation for the customer. So you fit two small openings at the top. You have an image over here. This permits stronger airflow than the trickle vent. The upper windows would not be particularly heavy, so they would not require robust hinges. The openings would be too small for an intruder to slip in, so they cost more but relatively inexpensive still at a great value. This is the second option. The third option is to have two opening sections. You have one window, but you have two opening sections. Apart from maximizing ventilation, this has this can be a rapid escape in terms of a fire. The size and weight of the sealed units would require stronger hinges over here, and they are lockable. This would be a relatively expensive window. So least expensive, one frame. Second option, two openings at the top. Third option, most expensive, opening window. This is the job of the salesperson to pitch and take the size off. Remember that. Next, salespeople are provided with price lists that can be used to determine the list price of the doors and the windows that the customer wishes to order. There is a price list that we give them. These lists take account of the size and the complexity of each door and window. Option 1, low price. Option 3, high price. Natural. Salespeople are authorized to give customers discount of up to 60%. Up to 60% a discount can be given to make the sale. Although the commission system is designed to encourage the salespeople to negotiate the smallest possible discount. So remember, up to 60% discount can be given, but the commission system is such for the salesperson that they will want to give the least possible discount. The less discount they give, the better their earning is. That's how our system has been set. Very important. This showcases that Shinyglas operates in a market where price elasticity plays a significant, important role. It's in your P2 syllabus. Analyzing price elasticity of demand helps us understand how customers respond to price changes, which means if I reduce the price, it's more likely that the customer will buy. So for this to be achievable, it's important that Shinyglas uses the cost plus pricing strategy or the marginal cost plus pricing strategy to make sure that the discount that they're offering remains profitable for the business. So ideally our pricing should be cost plus pricing, marginal cost plus pricing, because of the heavy discounts that we are offering. This is your P2 syllabus. Very, very important discussion we are making here. Again comes revenue recognition. Salespeople are authorized to offer 60% discounts. Under IFRS 15, revenue is recognized based on the final sale price after applying the discounts. So Shinyglas must make sure that this discount is properly accounted for. This is your F2 syllabus. Hope you are making a list of the topics. Repeatedly I am mentioning this because lots of important ideas and important topics are being given to you. Hope you are listing them. Moving on, the maximum commission paid to sales staff is 25%, which is payable when the customer agrees to pay the full list price of an order. So without any discount, if you sell something, the commission paid is 25%. The higher the discount offered to customers, the lower the commission paid to the sales staff. Discounts exceeding 45% attract no commission whatsoever. So it's very clear that you are authorized to give 60%, up to 60% discount. But if you give that much, you are not going to make any commission. So the system is set in a way where we encourage salespeople to give less and less and less commission. Shinyglas requires its salespeople to phone to seek permission from their regional sales managers before finalizing a sale. Sales managers might refuse a sale because they believe that the salesperson is granted an excessive discount. So that concept of authority, responsibility and delegation needs to be revised here. So first you are giving them the opportunity to give a maximum of 60% of discount. But when they call and tell you, do the managers often not allow that discount? Then the authority, then the responsibility, then the delegation within the organization needs to be revised over here. Because this is an important consideration. It shows wrongly and badly of the business if this is, if this is continued, if this is something that happens often, then it shows badly of the business. So constant monitoring of performance through innovative performance management systems will be important. The concept of responsibility accounting can also be introduced here within the regional sales managers departments to hold the sales representatives and further managers accountable. Responsibility needs to be given to the regional sales managers to make sure that they're accountable for the cost as well as the revenue, not only the costs or not only the revenue. So the concept of responsibility accounting we are dealing with over here. And finding and holding on to expert sales representatives will be a key comparative advantage. You might have the best product, But if you're not selling that product correctly, then naturally, it's not to the benefit of the business. So it will be important that for management, production, sales, marketing, all to work in tandem. So there should be the right KPIs, key performance indicators within the business, specifically for these regional sales managers, specifically for the lower level sales people, sales staff, to make sure that everybody is working for the success of the organization. This is your P2 syllabus, not wanting dysfunctional behavior. So responsibility accounting. In these circumstances, an experienced salesperson will usually attempt to restructure the deal in order to satisfy the regional sales manager. So if he's experienced, he'll try to restructure the whole thing so it's more lucrative for the business. Again, responsibility accounting coming over here. The regional sales manager might want this much. Salesperson is offering this much. But at the end of the day, if it's a profit for the company, the sale has to be made. Otherwise, the company is losing out. So dysfunctional behavior cannot occur, and this can be removed by responsibility accounting and by right KPIs. For example, it may be possible to persuade the customer to increase the size of the order, or simply to agree that it is worth paying a little more for Shinyglas's excellent product quality. If this does not happen, then the sale will be lost. So this demonstrates a controlled delegation of authority. Again, the concept of responsibility, delegation, authority coming up again and again because of how our business is set up, E2 syllabus. If the order is approved, the contract is signed and the salesperson takes a 5% deposit from the customer with a full payment upon completion of installation. Right now you are only taking 5%. Again, IFRS 15. Revenue is recognized when the control of the product is transferred to the customer upon installation. The deposit generally would be recorded as a liability because you've taken this money. If you don't fulfill the order, you have to pay it back, right? So it's not a sale for you. This 5% is generally recorded as a liability until the service is fully completed to ensure accurate revenue recognition. This 5% is not your revenue. You've not earned it. You've only received it. You've not earned it. You will earn it when you supply the windows or doors and it's fit. So F2 syllabus, I'm giving you entire IFRS 15 explanation through the pre-scene analysis itself. But you will have to revise the rules, the regulations of IFRS 15 from your F2 syllabus. Next, double glazing is expensive and so most customers borrow to cover the cost. Shinyglas has an arrangement with a large finance company. Salespeople assist customers to complete applications for loans. So salesperson has to take the measurement, has to make the sale and has to assist with the loan part as well. Once a loan is approved, Shinyglas receives a commission from the finance company as well because we offered this option to the customer. So it's a win-win for both. It's a win for us because customer will buy our product. It's a win for the insurance company. Customer bought from them, which is shared with the salesperson concerned. Now this commission is shared. So since full payment is due upon completion, Shinyglas's cash flow is impacted by timing of installation and sale. Sale occurred today, but you are not receiving the money today. You will receive the money when you finally install. So between the time of receiving the 5%, the 95% is still pending where you have to do the manufacturing, where you have to do the sales, and then finally when you install you will get the money. So there is a long working capital cycle in this situation. So we might need to use finance, short-term finance, securing short-term finance to run the working capital because of this long gestation period of my business. Salespeople report to regional sales managers who are based at our head office. We have already learned this. We already know the hierarchy. Salespeople are evaluated primarily on commercial considerations. So the performance of salesperson is primarily related to numbers like sales, discounts, percentage of sales visits, proportion of customers. But I don't think this is very, yes, financial metrics are very important, but there can be other non-financial metrics as well which we can use. So think of the non-financial metrics that we can use as an exercise. Successful salespeople are given a high priority in the allocation of sales leads through the online diary system. If you're successful, you get better leads, so better chances of making a commission. Customer requests for sales visits are more likely to be passed on to salespeople who are performing well. So the sales force is evaluated on specific metrics. This ties to employee performance appraisal and the use of key performance indicators. These are the KPIs, but these are only financial KPIs. What about non-financial ones? I've asked you to think of them as an exercise, E2 syllabus. Experienced salespeople may be given leads relating to large commercial sales, such as the replacement of windows and doors in shops or offices, or the supply of windows to builders where there is a large quantity, so the value is large, so the commission will be large. But for that you have to perform well, you have to be experienced. Next, installation. So we did manufacturing, we did sales, now we are on installation. Shinyglas has a network of independent installers that covers the whole of Templand. The company uses 40% companies that employ a total 40 companies, The company uses 40 different companies for installation that employs a total of 650 surveyors. So 550 salespeople self-employed. 650 surveyors and fitters, they are not mine, it's outsourced. We use a network of independent installers. The installers handle the technical aspects of checking the measurements and designing and installing the doors and windows on Shinyglas's behalf. So we do the entire manufacturing, and once then it's given to these installers, they will take care of the installation. So they are paid on a job by job basis for the work that they undertake. You complete this installation, you get this much money. So this is an example of outsourcing within the porter's value chain. Again, this is not my core competency. My core competency, my core job, core business is to make the frames and fit the double glass on it. My job is not to install them. So I have outsourced this to independent installers. This is E2 syllabus. So these installers become very important stakeholders for my business. And I have a whole bunch of other stakeholders as well. So the Mendelow's matrix for stakeholder management becomes an important study over here. So I gave you Porter's value chain, Mendelow's matrix from the E2 syllabus. Next, salespeople pass sales contracts to Shinyglas's operations department. Operations then arranges for an installer who is local to the customer to send a surveyor to visit the customer. Sale is made, sale goes to operation then assigns an installer. The surveyor checks that the salesperson measurements are accurate and that the design of the doors and windows is compliant with all rules and regulations. So you are transferring the risk by giving this job to an independent installer company which is not Shinyglas. So the liability is on them. They have to go and check if whatever is suggested is compliant to rules and regulations. So you're transferring the risk. Next, occasionally the surveyor finds an error in the salesperson's work. Sometimes there can be an error, everybody is human. In that case, any additional cost arising from the corrected design is deducted from the salesperson's commission. So if you make a mistake, you pay for it. That's how the business is set. This is an example of managing costs of quality, specifically the cost of failure. So we should train our salespeople in such a way that there is less failure, less time wasted. So eventually they will earn more commission. The installer sends the finalized designs back to the operations department, who then provide details to the Shinyglas's factory. So as soon as a sale is made, you don't start making it. Sale is made, installer is assigned, he goes and checks, he then sends it to the operations department, then it's given for final approval, final manufacturing to the factory. Because once it's manufactured, it's a complete waste if it doesn't fit. So the factory estimates a completion date for the manufacture. The installer is informed and the installation date is arranged with the customer. There is a lot of logistics involved over here. Installers are independent businesses. They are paid on the basis of the number of doors and windows that they install on behalf of Shinyglas. They are independent. They are required to use vehicles that carry the Shinyglas logo and to have their staff wear shirts that carry the Shinyglas logo, though they are not my employees, they are not my businesses. It is portrayed as though they are my businesses. So the system of requiring installers to follow company standards indicates controlled delegation of authority. You are giving them authority, but it's controlled by you. Next, Shinyglas evaluates installers on the basis of customer feedback, which is monitored by customer care staff at head office. Remember, this is one of our core competencies. Being or delivering good service is my core competency. I need to be aware of this from the beginning. That's in my culture. So if this feedback is not dealt with well, then naturally the customer will not have a good service if a mistake is pointed out repeatedly. This will be to the detriment reputation of my organization. So this is linked to broader performance measurement systems. The balance scorecard could be applied here to monitor installers' performance, taking financial as well as non-financial metrics into account. Financial is important, but not only that. Non-financial also needs to be looked at, and balance scorecard can be very, very useful over here. P2 syllabus. Next, builders who place large orders for replacement doors and windows or for the construction of new builds usually provide Shinyglas with precise measurements. So you don't need to conduct a survey because their architect will make the entire measurements and give it to you. You just have to follow it. Builders also tend to have their own staff to install doors and windows. So now naturally it is much more profitable for me to sell to a commercial contract. I don't need the surveyor, I don't need the installer. So there is so much easy logistics in this case and so many middlemen cut, so much time saved, quicker revenue generation as well can happen. So something to be aware of is that it's much more or it's profitable for the business to make sure that we have commercial contracts. Something to keep in mind of. And I'm getting a scenario to my mind here. So we could face a scenario where we have set up a company in another neighboring country for installation and checking services to make it the hiring phase of the company to take advantage of lower tax rates, cheap employment, and then transferring the staff for the services to the Shinyglas structure in Templand. It does happen all over the world, right? Let's say I want to hire salespeople in a neighboring country. I set up a company in that country, hire the people on that company, transfer the people internally and showcase them on the Shinyglas payroll. This is often done to take advantage of lower exchange rates, of lower costs, but it's often done to also manage your payable taxes. So the transfer pricing situation is coming into the scenario over here. It can happen, right? And it does happen all over the world, where buying is happening in one country, transferring it to another country, manufacturing it there, or people hired in one country, transferring the services to another company. does happen, right? Why does this happen? So that funds are moved from one country to another, or pretty much you are trying to create less profit in a high tax country and more profit in a less tax country, so that overall the company's profit is good or is saved. This is the transfer pricing situation and international transfer pricing from your P2 syllabus, which is coming up over here. It also brings in your consolidation topics, because naturally if you buy any company or you set up a company, it becomes your subsidiary, associate or joint venture. So you need to know the accounting for the same, and this is in your F2 syllabus. Next, you have Shinyglas's head office and factory. Now, Shinyglas's head office employs 240 people. So, to manage everything, there are 240 people. You have 160 staff in your factory. The head office and factory are adjacent to one another in central city. Now, naturally, you have a factory, it will need capital, it will need financial instruments like leases, bonds, F2 syllabus coming into the picture, because running a factory is not cheap. All of us are aware of this. Next, marketing. So, there is a competitive market. So, now we are talking, see, up until now, we were talking about the different functions. Now we have started to speak about the different departments. So, marketing department. There is a competitive market for replacement doors and windows. These are expensive products and customers generally obtain quotes from multiple suppliers. Naturally, Shinyglas's marketing department is responsible for maintaining the company's reputation as a reliable provider of high quality replacement doors and windows. Marketing has a substantial budget and is used to create advertising campaign. These are used to update our website content as well as broadcasted on television and in newspapers. So marketing is given importance, which is the good thing. But we have already learned that what are we doing to enhance our marketing is also an important consideration for my business. Moving on to sales then. The sales department has several roles within Shinyglas. The sales department is responsible for recruiting and training salespeople. The company suffers a small but persistent loss of staff, because salespeople struggle with stress. It's not common working hours. Sometimes it's not well paid if they don't perform well. So there is a common loss of staff. Sometimes successful staff can also leave for better paying jobs. Now, activity-based management could assess whether resources in the sales department are being used well. But for this budgeting, this management system, activity-based costing will be needed. So P2 syllabus, a chance for the business to improve. Newly appointed salespeople must attend a week-long course covering sales techniques and Shinyglas product range. We know that there is a training process that we often hold. Training is ongoing and every salesperson is required to attend training courses 6 months. These courses focus on updating product knowledge and learning the latest sales techniques. All courses are organized on a regional basis by the sales department using function rooms in local hotels. So the need for constant sales staff recruitment points to potential leadership and motivational issues. If they are not led well, if they are not motivated well, then naturally they will leave the business. So this is something that we can improve on to make sure we retain the staff. So less training is needed repeatedly, because training is also a cost, right? Regional sales managers are full-time employees who are based at head office. Sales managers are full-time. Sales staff is self-employed. We know this. Regional sales managers work in shifts so that salespeople can make contact at any time from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days per week. Salespeople are required to seek approval from their duty regional sales managers before signing sales contracts. We know this. Regional sales managers may refuse the terms because the discount is excessive. So regional sales managers act as gatekeepers, which could impact both communication and relationship between the managers and salespeople. This dynamic may also raise communication barriers. E2 syllabus, communication, smooth flow of communication is very important for our business particularly. The need to seek approval encourages salespeople to press for better terms for larger sales when negotiating with customers, even if that leads to some lost sales. Regional sales managers also monitor the performance of salespeople and can reward those who have been successful with additional sales leads. So that relationship will be very important. All salespeople are self-employed, so it's easy to dismiss them if they are unsuccessful. The sales department is also responsible for the management of Shinyglas's call center. Obviously, under sales, there are sales managers who deals with the salespeople, but there is a call center as well. The call center operators receive calls from potential customers who wish to book sales visits. They also make sales calls to potential customers who provide contact details through the website or by using response coupons in newspapers. So call centers will also call out as well as receive call-ins. The call center can also redirect calls to operations or customer care if customers have queries about a forthcoming installation or a complaint. So this sales department will be very important for our business, as important as the manufacturing department is or the operations is. Next, the operations department organizes the administrative aspects of making doors and windows and arranging for their installation. Operation is not manufacturing, remember this. Operation is operating all of these logistics. Operations coordinates the activities of the factory and the local installer to ensure that doors and windows are manufactured and installed at a time that is convenient for the customers. Most household installations can be completed in one single day itself. Next, customer care. Key department for us because this is one of our cultures. Shinyglas guarantees its products for 10 years. Customers contact the customer care department if they believe that the doors or windows have become defective within that time. Customer care will arrange for installer surveyor to attend the property and see the report. Alternatively, an independent glazing repair company may be asked to carry out the inspection. If the installer's surveyor is not available, then there is another outsourced independent glazing repair company which can go. If the surveyor's report indicates that the problem is covered by the guarantee, then customer care will arrange for a local installer or repair company to correct it. Go back and correct it. Shinyglas prefers to use the original installer, but that might not always be possible, right? Installer is busy with some other job. So Shinyglas's guarantee covers manufacturing defects and installation errors only. It does not cover failed sealed units because that sealed unit I am not making, I am getting it from outside. Unless it fails within 12 months or accidental damage. Very clear. 10-year guarantee, but only for your frame, not for the sealed units. The customer care department contacts customers after every installation to gather feedback on all aspects of their order and subsequent installation. Information gained from that feedback is passed to the sales department and the operations. Installer whose feedback is consistently positive tend to be allocated more jobs. So if you sell well, you get more sales lead. If you install well, you get more installation leads. Next, product development. Shinyglas has a team of engineers who work closely with the marketing department to develop new products. You develop them, but you got to market them. So marketing and development working together is a good sign. Shinyglas is constantly introducing new features such as the recent change to the manner in which frames are constructed. So we are always innovative. Our culture is also innovation. The new construction methods make it extremely difficult for burglars to remove the sealed units from doors and windows from the outside. So the investment in product innovation may lead to a creation of intangible assets like patents. This is covered in your IAS 38 intangible assets in your F2 syllabus. Very important. Next, admin and finance. Standard. The admin and finance department is responsible for several areas including human resources, legal services and accounting. Last but not the least, production. So the factory has a management team that is responsible for supervising manufacturing activities. There are also supervisors and operators who operate the equipment and conduct quality control. So managing manufacturing activities involves the aspects of project management, project control. So different project management tools, techniques, very important from your E2 syllabus. And production processes can be linked to variance analysis, budgeting analysis, P2 syllabus. So this gives us an overall view of how my head office is broken down and what my factory is like, which we have covered. Brings me to Shinyglas's board structure. Just the board structure they have given us. If you look at the structure, you have Dujuan Yang at the top, Executive Officer, CEO. Then you have Ilyas, Rosanun, Jose, Larissa, Nathan looking at different parts of the business. So Rosanum, for example, looking at sales. Under sales, we know that we have salespeople as well as call center, like we have already dealt with. So this is showcased over here. Under finance, we know that we have legal services, human resources, financial reporting, and everything related to finance, so management accounting as well. We've already done this, but this is a diagrammatic representation of my board's structure. And from this image, it's very clear that we currently have a functional group structure, where there are different functions and each function looks at a specific job. Finance looks at finance, production looks at production, for example. So this is good for specialization, better control. But the limitations are there are long decision-making processes. There is conflicts between departments. So in the future, there could be the option to grow to divisional structure, matrix structure as the business grows, as the business expands. E2 syllabus. Carrying forward, they tell us that we have non-executive directors as well. We have Alison Hall, who is the chairman, and then we have 4 other non-executive directors, and they've just listed out their names. Why is this important? This is important from the corporate governance perspective. So if we look at the structure of the organization, we can see that the corporate governance code has not been honored. There, in every aspect, it's not been honored, because generally the board should be made up of equal number of executives, equal number of non-executives. Here we have 6 executives and 5 non-executives. So mismatch in the board. The roles of CEO and chairman is separate. That's a good thing. There is no mention of audit committee, remuneration committee, nomination committee, risk committee. So we don't know if they exist. But as part of good corporate governance, these are some important rules and regulations for us to keep in mind, because corporate governance is something that is an important discussion. So I always like to keep it at the forefront. So this was my board structure. Always remember how the business is set out, what the hierarchy of the business is. That's an important consideration. That brings me to Shinyglas's business model. Now the business model is nothing but like a synopsis of everything that we have learnt so far. So Shinyglas wishes to remain the largest fabricator of windows and doors in its home market. We want to be that dominant player still. So what will we have to do? Grow, quality, customer service, all of this will have to be top notch. And this has been broken down into 4 parts of the value generation process. Again, P2 syllabus. If I look at defining value, let me just look at the summary on the right hand side. I will ask you to read the entire boxes over here when you have the time, but I am going to go through the summary with you and point out the important areas. So how do we define value? We define value through its collaboration with stakeholders, including suppliers of material and sales people. So here I need to consider stakeholder management, different business ecosystems, and cost control, because this is where my input is happening. How do we create value? We create value through partnerships with our suppliers and contractors, providing energy efficient products that add value to customers' properties. So sustainability. So what topics do we relate over here? Value creation, quality management, sustainability, and investment appraisal over here. Because when I'm creating value, I always want to think about generating profit as well, right? Next, delivering value. So Shinyglas focuses on reassuring customers about their significant purchase decisions by using a countrywide network of sales people. Having that strong sales team, very important for us. This showcases my customer-centric approach, my digital tools because of my online diary, performance appraisal and incentive schemes because more and more salespeople are encouraged to sell in that one visit. And F2 because over here you are delivering the value, so the customer is paying you, so the financial reporting comes into the picture. And last, how do we capture the residual value? We offer discounts and tailored services to encourage customers to make larger, more profitable orders, minimizing the fixed costs by paying salespeople and installers on a commission basis, controlling the cost. Increasing customer profitability is my focus. So it's always important to stay true to your business model. I have just spoken about this repeatedly through the pre-scene, and I will ask you to read this figure, this diagram that you see on your screen in your own time, but a summary has already been given to you. So these are the operations of my company. This is how the day-to-day of my company is run. This is how the day-to-day of my company is being provided to customers, is being, given to my customers, is being experienced by my customers. So this is an important consideration for us to always have, because these are important discussions that we are making over here. So this is part 2 of your pre-scene analysis. Hope you have understood it. Go through it again if you want, fathom it, understand it, then start with part number 3. Just because 3 is available doesn't mean you go through it. First, you should be comfortable with industry analysis. Pre-scene part 1, pre-scene part 2. Your list of topics should be ready. Then you start with part number 3 once you are confident. Thank you. Hope you have found this helpful.